Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. My name is Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to flip off societal pressures and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're here to encourage you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Selfish Confidence Podcast. It's Jess here, and I don't remember the last time I was this excited to sit down and record for you. You know how they say absence makes the heart grow fonder? Well, I have freaking missed you. And since the announcement on Monday to decide to go back to one episode a week for a season or for a little bit, I have been itching to sit down and to talk to you, and I have such a special episode for you today for a lot of reasons. One being because, maybe you didn't see the post on the Selfish Confidence Instagram page, and if that's the case, we are going back to one episode a week for a little bit. I've had some health things going on. I have SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and it's just a long way of saying I have some really annoying gut stuff happening that's affecting my energy. It's affecting how I feel. It's just like a roller coaster sometimes of am I going to have energy or am I not? And I've decided to go back for one, that reason of being able to heal my gut, to take some things off my plate and feel really good. And for two, there's some really exciting big things coming for Selfish Confidence. And I really want to be able to expand on that. And right now, all of my energy and everything goes into creating 2 episodes a week. So I want to allow myself some space to go back to 1 episode a week and be able to focus on some of these other things, like big in-person events and more retreats and being able to send more newsletters out to you and connecting more on social media and really being able to do a lot more, hopefully also adding video content into the podcast, but I don't have enough capacity. It's just me and Em here who are putting everything together for you. So we're really small and freaking mighty, and we're making this shift for you. And so I just want to say thank you so much for your support and your love in this decision. Everybody's messages after I posted that on Monday have been so kind and loving, and I just want to say thank you. It really means a lot that I know you're there and you're listening and you're a part of this, and I can really make these episodes extra special because I'm taking the time. I felt like before I was just kind of throwing things out there and making a lot of content and doing a lot of things, but now I really get to be here and be present with you and create episodes that feel really freaking good. And this one that I have for today has been on my heart for a really long time, but I haven't been able to map it out because honestly, I just really didn't have the time to focus on it. So today we are talking about something I love so freaking much. It's human design, baby. It's some human design time. And maybe you're here and you're just like, okay, Jess, you've talked about this before. You've had people on who've talked about this before. I'm not into it. And that's okay too. If it's not your thing, I get it. But hear me out today because I want to talk about this in a sense of how knowing your human design and diving into even just the surface level of it can really help you to have more confidence. So let's do a little story time. I'm going to take you back to when I first learned about my human. It was actually when I was living in Barbados, and there was this hairdresser that I met. I had gone to her hair salon to get the bottom of my head shaved, and she was the person who I wanted to go back to for haircuts and gifted myself this experience to go and have this beautiful haircut and color and everything all done before I came back to Canada. And I wanted to do this with her. Her name's Tenika. She is a beautiful bright light, and she opened my eyes to the world of human design. And if you're coming to the Barbados retreat, side note, Tenika is going to be there to be helping us and going through some different workshops with us. So be excited about that. But also, it was this moment when I think my hair color was setting, and for some reason Glenn was also at the salon with us. I don't remember why, but she had said, "Do you know your human design?" And I was like, "What are you talking about, you crazy person? I'm here to get my hair done." And she was like, "Let me look it up for you. Do you know your birth time?" And I remember it as clear as day. I can picture this day. And she's like, "You're a projector." oh, interesting. And she started to go into some things about being a projector. And there was other people in the salon too, and we were all talking about it. And it was just this beautiful experience of learning our differences, learning about each of the types, just in the people who were in the room, and being able to see how we can all come together to help this world as a whole. And that's what human design is all about. It's essentially a body graph or a map of yourself that helps you to see what your strengths are and what are some things that you might need a little extra support on, and how can we lean on each other, because the whole point is how we can support the collective. How can we support each other? And if we all came together and put our strengths together, the world would be in such a beautiful place. And so you put your birthday, birth time, birth location into like a human design website or system, and it spits out this body graph, this chart, this roadmap to teach you all about your uniqueness, your unique gifts. And so similar to things like astrology or the Enneagram or any of these other personality aspects or tests that you can do, what I always loved about human design is that it was based on my birth time. I didn't have to do a quiz to figure it out or to find out who I am, because for me, I am a person who can change my answers on a quiz like every day. I might have a different answer every single day. And so I never was able to really focus on what a personality type could be for me, because my personality felt like it was ever changing. With human design, similar to your horoscope, you can't change it. It's based on where you're born and what time you're born and when you're born, and you cannot change that, which I always really loved. And that was the first step in me having more confidence in my type and in my design, because I knew that I didn't mess it up. And so since that day of learning about my type and really diving into different things, this has helped me to build my business my way. It gave me the permission slip to see my life and to see my energy and to see the things that I'm putting out in the world differently, as mine. And I could do it my way instead of always trying to keep up with society's pressures and always trying to do things just like everybody else. It was truly the relief I needed in order to step into where I am now. And here's the thing, human design is not the end all be all. It is not the only way of seeing things in your life. I just think that it is a beautiful tool and a great tool for you to have more confidence with, because you get to learn about yourself. The more you can learn about the self, the more you know about yourself, the more confidence you're going to have. And as you start to learn these things, even on a deeper level, maybe some subconscious things that you don't even know about, the more you learn about these things, you're really going to start to see yourself in a new light. You are not broken if you cannot keep up with society's pressure and society's challenges. You are not broken if you don't have the energy to do all the things. You are not broken if you're feeling frustrated or angry or uncomfortable or bitter with the world because you're trying to do so much, or you're trying to do things that just don't feel aligned for you. And once I learned about this, learned about my human design, it really just felt like I could be me. And that was the beautiful gift that I could give to the world. And I know you getting your chart read or you figuring out who you are in this aspect isn't just going to be like, oh, great, I'm at peace and I'm so confident now. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is it can be a step in the direction of realizing you're not broken. And if people in society have told you you're lazy or you're flaky or you're too much or all of these things that society labels as wrong about us, is actually a beautiful gift that you've been given by God, by the universe, to live in your truth, to be yourself. We need you to be you. That is the truth. We need you to be you. So it's time to stop putting the mask on that society tells us we're supposed to fit into that box and start to live by our design. And I get really passionate about this because I really do think that it is so cool. So cool to know that you are uniquely you for a reason. And for some people, they can just truly embrace it. I was not one of those people, and knowing this about myself and learning about my design helped me to embrace it a bit more. So today I wanted to talk to you about a baseline, like the base of human design, just talking about the types. There's 5 main types, and we've talked about this on the podcast before. If you've gone back, I've done an episode with my girlfriend Crystal all about human design, and also with my friend Jen, who really helped me to see and step into human design a bit more. So you may already know this if you're into human design, but we're going to dive into it again. There's 5 different types. You could be a projector, which is what I am. There are manifestors. There's manifesting generators, which is a hybrid, and there's generators and reflectors. And each of these types have a really unique gift to bring to the world. You're here for a reason, and that is proof in your chart. We all have unique strengths and we all have unique gifts. And what was really clear for me once I started to learn more about this was that we truly need each other. We need each other to grow, we're just not meant to do life alone. And it's very clear and evident as you start to look into your chart. And I love doing this with my partner, with Glenn's chart. Like I'll put them side by side and I can see where we complement each other, where we can lean on each other. And it's just so fun to see it even in just your household. But as a collective, as the whole freaking world, it's like that. If we put all of our charts up, it's almost like a map of these beautiful gifts that we can help each other with. And before I get into each type, because we're going to go through each one here today, I want you to go into the show notes or go to myhumandesign.com, put in your information, and find out what your human design is. Because this is going to help you to understand as I go through the types what you are and take a step in that direction. You're going to see this graph and it's going to look super confusing. It looks like a human body and you're just like, what are all these things with these weird things coming out of all different parts of this body graph? But I want you to just focus on one thing. What is your type? And that is the first step. It can be really overwhelming to look at your chart because there are so many aspects to it. It can go so deep, but I just want you to take one step today and focus on that type. And I'm going to go through the 5 types now. So we're going to start with projectors because that's my type. And it's probably the one that I know the most about because when I was first starting out in this, that's really all I knew when it came to human design. I knew a little bit about the type and a little bit about the profile, and that was it. And that was really enough for me to understand the concepts of my gifts and what I was here to do. So that's where we're going to start today. That's all we're going to talk about is just the types. So the first one being a projector. Projectors are gifted seers. They're here to guide the world into a better way of living. It's like we can sit on this rooftop and look down and see how people are doing things and know instantly a better way to do it. They're very efficient in the work that they do. And although what you'll often hear when it comes to projectors is that they don't have a lot of energy, you do have efficiency. What a typical person can do in an 8-hour day, you can get done in 3. And I hear this a lot when it comes to projectors because we're all just like, oh, I didn't realize. Like we're sitting at our desks for 8 hours because society tells us that that's what we should do. But you're really efficient. You can get a lot done. So it's so important for you to be conserving your energy, getting the things done you have to do, and then making time for rest. Because projectors don't have the same amount of energy as some of the other types do. And so we do need a bit more time to rest than the average type. But projectors are here to tweak and improve and to change and to really help make existing processes in the world more efficient and easier for the rest of us to do, for the rest of the world to do. And so projectors make great teachers and great coaches and great leaders and all of these things because they just can see the world so differently. But here's the thing. Here's the kicker when it comes to being a projector. It's not even a kicker. It's a great thing is that our strategy in this world is to wait for the invitation. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, what the heck does that even mean? My projector friend just messaged me about this the other day. It's not about sitting and waiting and just twiddling our thumbs and hoping someone asks us. It's about conserving the energy that we do have for the people who want to know more. So the invitation can be someone asking you a question, hey, what do you think about this? Or how do you do that? And waiting for that. Because if we don't, we're wasting our energy on people who might not want the things and the gifts that we have to give. The next type that I want to talk to you about today are generators. And generators make up 60% of the population. So there's a good chance if you're listening to this, you might be a generator because there's a lot of you. Generators are our life force. They're here with the strong energy to do. If you are a generator, you probably have the energy to do a lot of things. You could go from, first thing in the morning to late at night doing things that you love. That's the kicker though. That's the kicker with my generators. It has to be something that you love. You might have the energy to do a 12-hour day in a job that you hate, but you're going to feel really freaking drained after. Generators can go for days when they are doing what they love, when they are doing what lights them up, their purpose here on earth. And they actually fuel the energy for those of us who have less energy. We absorb it from these generators. And where they do make up 60% of the population, I do think that this is where a lot of that societal pressure can come from, because a good portion of our population has the energy to do. They have the energy to keep going. And this is what we're trying to keep up with for our non-energy beings, those being projectors and manifestors. And for my generators, I want you to know that this is a beautiful gift. The fact that you have energy to do is so beautiful. And you need to be selfish with that energy. If something doesn't feel right, or you don't want to do it, or you feel this uneasiness that comes with it, say no. Really prioritize the things that feel really good for you and that are a heck yeah in your body, and say yes to that. Saying yes to the things that feel really good and saying no to the things that don't is going to allow you to have more space and more energy for the things that light you up. Remember, your energy is a gift. You are here to do, you're here to help, you're here to be, this bright, energetic light in the world. But it's so important that you're doing the things that feel good for you. And again, if we're thinking as a collective, as a whole, people are interested in things. People love things that you might just be like, ew, I would never want to do that. So let them do that and focus on the things that light you up, because there's a good chance that the people who do the things that you do not like, that you're just like, oh my gosh, I could never, that it's so annoying, or those people probably feel that way about the things that light you up. Right? We're here because we all have specific needs and wants and goals and things. And if we all come together to support each other in this, it's going to be a beautiful place to live. And as a generator, you're here to respond to things. That's your strategy in life. You're here to say yes to the things that light you up and say no to the things that don't. And when someone comes to you and says, hey, do you want to come to my birthday party on Friday night? And you're like, heck no, I don't. I want to go home and watch Netflix and hang out with my cats. Say no, because your strategy on this earth is to respond, and it's not always to respond for other people. Generators can be chronic people pleasers, so really try to focus on what you want and say yes to those things. The next type is manifestors, and they make up one of the rarest types in human design. Only 8% of the world is manifestors. How cool is that? If you had manifestor pop out in your chart, know that you're a beautiful gem and there are few of you in this world. Like, how cool is that? Manifestors, like projectors, are non-energy beings. So you don't create your own energy. You have a limited source of it, and it's really important that you conserve that energy, because manifestors are here to be change makers. They're here to be initiators, and they're this powerful force that don't actually need to wait for anything to happen to make a move in this world. Like, you are here to make change. And what's beautiful about manifestors is that they're here to inform. You're just here to tell people what you're doing. Manifestors have this unique energy about them, and they just know what they want, and they're just going to do it. Like, you're just here to do what you want. That is like your permission slip. And that's one of the things that's really interesting when you learn about your human design, especially when you're one of these unique and different types. They're all unique and different. But this one in particular, like, you're here to actually just like do the things you want to do. Like, do you just need that permission slip right now to do what you want? Well, here it is. Manifestors, go for it. And I just want you to recognize too that manifestors can often be called flaky because you have all these different things. They are multi-passionate. They like to start a lot of projects, and you might not actually be here to finish them. You're here to start revolutions and like get the generators to do the rest, right? You're here with these ideas and these momentums that you want to put into the world, and people are going to come and help you make that happen. You're a visionary. And a challenge that often comes up for a lot of manifestors is trying to embrace this bigness in life. Society often tells us to stay small, or they tell us that we, again, are flaky, or stop doing so many things, or just focus on one thing. But if you can embrace this side of you, embrace this bigness, embrace this life, and really just go for it, go for the things that are on your heart, you're really going to step into this role as a manifestor in this world and make big impact. You need to trust your intuition, trust your urges and those downloads that are coming in for you, because they're there for a reason. And again, like projectors, you don't have the same amount of energy as a generator does, so you might not be best suited for a 9-to-5 job. You have to trust these urges that you have to follow your heart and to do things differently. You might work best in bursts, like big periods of time where you're just like, I can get all these things done. And then you need a lot of rest. It's almost like this big roller coaster sometimes of being able to action things and do things. And then other seasons just feeling like it's nothing. And I think this is what's really important for manifestors to know about themselves, because we often think, oh, well, like, why can't I keep up with the rest of the world? Or why don't I have the energy like them? And the truth is, you don't. Because you're different and you're gifted in other skills. So keep telling the world what it is you want to do. You're here to inform. It's not about asking for permission or responding to things or waiting for the invitation like some of these other types. For you, you're here to just tell people what the F you're doing, and that's it. Because you doing that, by you leaning into that energy, you're able to inspire the world. So you're just like, hey, I'm going to start this really cool project. I don't really care about your input on it. I'm just here to do it. That is the energy of a manifestor, and it is the coolest thing to watch. And by you informing people, like, everything else is going to fall into place. So you just saying, hey, I'm going to do this project, insert whatever it is that you have, the rest of the pieces will fall into place after that. Maybe people will come, the generators will come, and the projectors will see what you're doing, and all of these things, we work together collectively to really build this up. And that is the beautiful gift in human design. We all have a purpose here on this earth. And if we can lean into that and really embrace that, everything's going to fall into place. The next type that I want to highlight for you is the manifesting generators. They are the hybrids. They are a mix of manifestors and generators put together. And what I think is really beautiful about this, I will tell you the truth, I'm so jealous of this, because you have the ideas to do things and you have the energy to do them. Like, how freaking cool is that? And I'm going to tell you here now, the grass is always greener, right? We look at other energy types and we want them. I know a lot of manifesting generators who love projectors and wish that they had those gifts. So we're always going to look. The grass is always greener, right? But what's so beautiful about this energy type, they're here to try new things. You're here to just like experience life and experience the world and bring your dreams and visions to life and really just indulge in life. And they truly show up as these square pegs in round holes. And this is why, again, I think human design is so interesting. It's because it helps you to see that you're not alone. This is who you are. Like, how cool is that? Maybe you felt like an outcast your whole life. You felt different your whole life, and you learning something about yourself here is just helps you to embrace that truth. As a manifesting generator, again, we can talk about those two types that we already talked about here, but they have 1,000,010 interests. There's just so many things they want to do, and you're not meant to pick one. Society tells us that we are supposed to pick one thing and do it until we die. And that is just not your truth. If you're a manifesting generator, you're multi-passionate. And if people start to force you to pick just one thing, you will ignore everything and just have this like energetic burnout. And it's going to feel really uncomfortable, right? Because you're doing, again, the things that don't feel good for you. So you got to follow that gut, follow your heart in this, and really step into trying a bunch of different things. If you want to do roller skating today and you want to do pogo jumping tomorrow, I don't know why those are the things I thought of, but maybe that's what you want to do. Or you want to do tennis today as your activity, and then 2 weeks from now, you're just like into cooking. That is your truth. You're going to have a lot of different passions, and you're going to want to follow all of them. Know that this can change really quickly too. So it could be in the same day you have different interests. It could be in weeks you have different interests, and just follow that. Really try things out. And if in a couple weeks you don't want to do roller skating anymore, it's okay. Put your skates on Marketplace, right? You can have fun with all of these different aspects. And this can get really confusing, I think, for man-gens who are business owners, because there's just so many things you want to do. There's so many avenues you want to take and so many ideas that you have, and it can get overwhelming. But again, it's so important that you do it your way and follow these impulses and urges that feel really good for you. Again, your strategy, like a generator, is to respond. But when I connect with man-gens, I want you to look at both, the to respond and to inform. So you're here to respond to things. Sure, if I said, hey, do you want to come to this open house for cats on Friday night? You would respond with yes or no and whatever feels good. But you could also have the strategy of to inform, which is the manifestor strategy, and just say, hey, I'm going to this open house for cats on Friday night, period. That's it. That's the beautiful gift of being a manifesting generator, is that you get to do both. You get to do it all, and you're really here to experiment in that. And the last thing I really want to say for my manifesting generators out there is that they can notice that they're shoulding themselves. They're putting themselves in that should. I should do this. I should do that. I have the energy, so I should. And that should is going to hold you back in so many ways. And this can go for all types. Let's be real. We can fit ourselves in the should box. And so if that's you, it's so important that you just practice that yes and practice that no. If it's a no, say freaking no. Honor yourself so that your body can start to learn that you're going to listen. Your body can trust you to listen. And the last type is a reflector. They make up like 1% of the population. They are so rare that I have never done a reading or have connected or have met a reflector in my life. Like I'm just like, I want to meet you. But what's really cool about a reflector is that all of their energy centers are open. There is nothing in their chart. When you look at a chart for a reflector, it's just like all white. And you're just like, whoa, am I a ghost? No, you're able to absorb and reflect to whoever you're around. Reflectors are like ever flowing. Like they're here to let life take them where they need to go and meet people where they need to meet them and just flow with that. Their gift is that they're a mirror and that they can reflect to other people who they are. It's almost like you get to be every energy type. You get to be every design. And that is just like so cool, right? You get to be everything. They can truly experience things in a way that no other energy type can. And they have this gift of truly seeing people for who they are and this authority that they can bring to life. Like how cool is that? And their life here on earth is less about discovering themselves and more about being curious about the people and their environments and really reflecting back to people what they see and pick up on, which is one of the reasons why where they are and where they live and their home is so important, because you need to really be creating these safe spaces around you because you're so sensitive to energies. Just in general, you are always absorbing, you're always, reflecting what people you spend time with and who you are. So it's just so important that you really create a lot of safe space around you because it can be exhausting. And when it comes to reflectors, which I always find really interesting, is that your strategy in this world is to wait a lunar cycle. We're talking 28 days, baby, like the whole freaking moon before making any kind of big decisions in your life. Now, I'm not saying this like before you decide what you're going to eat for dinner, no, but before maybe buying a house or getting married or even like getting a dog. Like impulse is not your friend as a reflector, and it's so important that you really wait the whole cycle, the whole lunar cycle, to make big decisions. Reflectors are really connected with the lunar cycle, with the moon, and with its phases, and their energy often really connects with that too. And where this type is so rare, I haven't had a chance to really dive deep into it. So if you do have a reflector chart, send me a message because I think this is really cool and I really want to dive into it and learn more about it. But I just haven't had the opportunity because there really is only 1% of the population who are reflectors. So I am just scratching the surface here with each of these type: projectors, generators, manifesting generators, manifestors, and reflectors. And I didn't want to go too deep because I do think it can be a lot, and this would be like an 8-hour podcast episode. There's literally podcasts out there just about human design and even just about certain types. And I really do encourage you to learn more about this if it's something that like felt a little itchy for you today. You're like, this is actually really cool and I want to know more. So I'm going to put some of my favorite podcasts in the show notes for you to be able to learn more about the types. And if you're like, I want to know more, like I am feeling this and I just want to know more about myself and my chart and I have no idea where to start, send me a message. I do human design readings. I recently took a training for it and it has just been a beautiful gift to know more about how to read a chart beyond just the types. There's profiles, there's authorities, there's so many things about it. The centers and the gates and all of this stuff. And even me saying that overwhelms you. It's okay. I want to dive into this with you. And so I do offer human design readings. I do them over like a voice memo app, and it allows us to do it in chunks every day. So it's less overwhelming. We go through some of these, basic things, and we dive into deeper and deeper and deeper each day over 5 days. And on the 5th day, you can ask any questions that you have, anything that popped up, anything that you're thinking about, or where to go with some of these pieces that you're learning about yourself. and it's $197 Canadian, and we go through a deep dive into your chart over the week. And so if this is something that interests you, I'll put the information in the show notes, but you can also send me a DM, ask me some questions, and really be like, hey, this is what I see on my chart. Can you tell me more? And we can dive into you. And side note, also, if you're coming to the fall retreat that's happening the first weekend in November, we are going to be diving into your human design at the retreat too. And I'm really excited for that. But I hope this gave you some insight in why even just knowing a base level of your human design can really help you to have more confidence. I truly believe that the more we can learn about ourselves, the more we're going to just step into our power, step into who we are, and embrace our truth. Until I learned this about myself, I just thought I was lazy, or I couldn't keep up, or I was just a sleepy Sally. Like, there's so many things that I thought was wrong with me. And once I learned this, I was really able to just embrace who I am. And if you're listening to this podcast, I would guess you also struggle with your confidence and embracing your truth and truly living that aligned life. So maybe this is a great step for you to learn a little bit more about yourself. Dive into your human design. Check it out. Send me a message. Send me all your questions, because I think this stuff is fascinating. And with that being said, I hope you have an awesome week. We will be only doing one episode a week. I still haven't decided if that's Mondays or if that's Thursdays yet. So if you have an input on that, send me a message, because I really do want to pick what's the best day for all of us and really dive into it. But yeah, one episode a week. And that just gets me more fired up to hang out on here and to create really great episodes with really great guests and all of the things. Your input matters here. I know you have magic in you. So please send me a message on what you think might be best, Monday or Thursday. And also, if you have any suggestions for really incredible guests to come on the podcast, also send them my way. I'm happy to really build this into a place that we all feel and heard and loved and seen. So let's build this together. I hope you have an awesome week, and I love you so much. What's up, sis? I am so glad we could hang out today. If you love this episode, send it to a friend or share it on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me sprinkle some confidence in the world. And don't forget, you are magic. Let's show the world your shine.